Hurricane Erin began strengthening again Wednesday as it crept closer to the mid-Atlantic coast, its outer bands brushing North Carolina's Outer Banks as beaches closed across much of the U.S. East Coast. Forecasters expect the storm to peak going into Thursday and say it could intensify again as a major hurricane.
Despite the fact that the core of Erin is going to pass well offshore of the North Carolina coast as it turns northeastward and then east-northeastward as you go from Wednesday into Thursday. If you look at the forecast size of the tropical storm force winds that currently extend out over 265 miles from the center, that wind field is going to continue to grow, bringing tropical storm conditions, dangerous wave conditions to the North Carolina Outer Banks, and that big risk of rip currents along the entire East Coast. You can see everywhere here in red from South Florida all the way up through southern New England, at a high risk of rip currents, moderate risk up into northern New England. So please, it's not going to be safe to get out into the ocean along much of the United States East Coast today and through much of the rest of this week. In particular, we're very concerned about the potential for life-threatening inundation from storm surge along the North Carolina Outer Banks from Cape Lookout up to Duck, including places like Ocracoke Island, Hatteras Island, Kitty Hawk, all the way up through Dare County, with the potential for 2 to 4 feet of inundation above ground level here in this area along the ocean side. And looking at the wording from our partners at the National Weather Service office in Morehead City, the highest water is expected to be in the ocean side area of the Outer Banks from late today through Thursday and into Friday. And there's going to be large waves expected to cause significant severe beach and coastal damage. Potential for roads on the Outer Banks, especially North Carolina Highway 12, to be washed out and possibly impassable at high tide. And the sound side areas along the Outer Banks are going to experience some highest water tonight into Thursday as the winds turn northerly as Erin passes to the east of those areas. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see that there is the potential for some coastal inundation all the way up through the mid-Atlantic states, the lower Chesapeake Bay, up along the New Jersey shore, 1 to 3 feet above ground level in some of those areas as well, with the potential for large breaking waves in addition to that. And the wind threat, we have a tropical storm warning now for the Outer Banks of North Carolina from Beaufort Inlet all the way up to the North Carolina-Virginia border. And those warnings have now been extended northward up to the Virginia coastline, including Virginia Beach and the Virginia portion of the eastern shore. And even as we zoom out even farther, along portions of the mid-Atlantic coast, there is going to be the potential for tropical storm force wind gusts along the immediate coastline, but most concerned about the potential for those sustained tropical storm force winds along the North Carolina Outer Banks.
While Erin is unlikely to make landfall along the East Coast before turning farther out to sea, its outer edge is packing tropical force winds while approaching North Carolina's Outer Banks. Water began pouring onto the main route connecting the barrier islands and around a handful of stilted homes precariously perched above the beach. By Wednesday evening, officials had closed Highway 12 on Hatteras Island as surge increased and waves were growing higher, while Ocracoke Island's connection to its ferry terminal was cut off. Authorities expect the largest swells during high tide will cut off villages and vacation homes on the Outer Banks and whip up life-threatening rip currents from Florida to New England.